is Melanie Sorensen with Cytiva.
And this is Martina Pompa from Cytiva.
Welcome to session 2, which covers more of the animal-derived products and animal byproducts new guidance.
In the guidance document, you can find the terms and definitions in Appendix 1. You can find the definition of animal byproducts, which means entire bodies or parts of animals or other products obtained from animals, which are not intended for human consumption. According to Regulation 1069, derived products are products obtained from one or more treatments, transformations, or steps of processing of animal byproducts. Blood is defined in the European regulation as fresh whole blood, and the ISRA definition of whole blood is an animal byproduct that has not been depleted of any of its components. And a blood product means a derived product from blood of other fractions of blood. Next slide. Furthermore, definitions were updated to reflect new terms and names. The border inspection post is now called the border control post. However, it still means a place designated by a member state for the performance of official controls. With this change, the Common Veterinary Entry Document was revised to the Common Health Entry Document. It is still a document issued as a result of the inspection at the border control post. The country of origin was updated to include the different definitions in the European Health Certificate. So you have the country of origin defined in 1.7 of the Health Certificate as the country in which the finished products were produced, manufactured, or packaged. And in 2.5, they ask for the country where the blood was collected. And other jurisdictions have different definitions, like, for example, the country of slaughter, the country of collection, or the country of manufacturing. Next slide. Other changes to the terms and definitions are, amongst others, about the endpoint. The endpoint means derived products referred to in Article 33 of Regulation 1069. These products have reached the endpoint in the manufacturing chain, and a laboratory reagent means a packaged product ready for use containing animal byproducts or derived products and intended as such or in combination with other products as a reagent or reagent product. In the guidance, the geographical BSE risk was replaced by the OIE, the World Organization for Animal Health. You will hear more about this later from Melanie. We also added transit and transshipped consignment to the definition, and you will also hear about this later. And you have heard about traces in the previous session 1. Next slide.
We went through the terms and definitions. Let's go into some more detail now for certain ones. Finished products. They fall under the scope of other EU legislation and not the animal byproduct framework. The finished products are listed in Article 33 of Regulation EC 1069/2009. A product which still requires packaging or labeling to make it suitable for placing on the market is not considered to be a finished product. Next slide. Endpoint. Example, wool and hair, hides and skin that fulfill specific requirements. These products may be placed on the market without restrictions. Manufacturers cannot decide on the endpoint themselves per Article 5, 36 through 39. Next slide. Article 51A and Article 52 from Regulation EC 1069/2009 lay down the legal process to adapt Article 3 of Regulation EU 142, 2011, and Article 33 of EC 1069 in 2009. To determine the endpoint of a product in the manufacturing chain, it has to go through the exercise of delegation to adopt Article 3 or committee procedure to adopt Article 33. Once again, there is a process to figure out what is the endpoint. Next slide. OIE. Some of you have most likely heard the term OIE. It is the World Organization for Animal Health, an intergovernmental organization that focuses on transparently publishing information on animal diseases, improving animal health globally. The goal is to create a safer, healthier, and more sustainable world. The website is listed below for serious transmittable disease or Article 1.2.3. Next slide. The following are included with a category of cattle diseases and infections in Article 1.3.2. Next slide. BSE. The European Commission stopped evaluation of countries according to the geographical BSE risk, or GBR, and recognizes the OIE categorization system for its own recognition of countries in respect of BSE risks in animal and animal products. The BSE status of the member states or third countries is laid down in the Commission decision of 453. Each member state or third country are classified as one of the following: negligible BSE risk, controlled BSE risk, undetermined BSE risk. Next slide. Transit and transshipment. There is a new Chapter 6. The Commission delegation regulation has the official controls for consignment in transit. Health certificate models in Annex 15 were also issued for transit. There is also document, identity, and physical checks for goods subject to the animal health requirements when in transit or transshipments. Next slide.
So, what changes to the legislation were considered in the guidance revision? It was, for example, Regulation 429 from 2016 on transmissible animal diseases, the Animal Health Law. The list of animal byproducts and derived products subject to official controls at the border control posts is now given in Regulation 632 from 2021. And Commission implementing Regulation 1084, amending Regulation 142 as regards the harmonization of the list of approved or registered establishment, plants and operators, and the traceability of certain animal byproducts and derived products. Several changes in the legislation were made in regard to official controls. In Regulation 625, you can find the rules on official controls and other official activities, or you can find rules of official controls for goods in transit and transshipment and onward transportation through the European Union in the Regulation 21/24. The Council Directive 23 from 1996 on measures to monitor certain substances and residuals was repealed and replaced by Regulation 625 as mentioned above. However, the reference in the health certificates did not change. And in Commission implementing Regulation 1715, you can find the rules laid down for the functioning of the information management system for official controls and its systems components, the IMSOC regulation, which is referring to the TRACES system. Next slide. Let's talk about the fresh meat list. In Regulation 142, you could always find the reference to Regulation 206 laying down the list of third countries authorized for the import of animal byproducts or blood products into the European Union. Regulation 206 was repealed and Commission Regulation 384 amended the Annex 14, the reference to Regulation 206, and replaced by the new Commission Implementing Regulation 404. So you can find the fresh meat list. This is the reference for the introduction of blood products into the European Union, now in Regulation 404. Next slide. With the introduction of Regulation 404 and the fresh meat list, there might be some confusion about the definition of offal and the relation to blood. The ISIA position on offal is the following. In Regulation 206, in Annex 2, Part 1, category restrictions, you can find no offal is authorized for the introduction into the Union. In Regulation 404, which replaces the Regulation 206, the Article 2, it states that for the purpose of this regulation, the definitions laid down in Article 2 of Regulation 692 apply. And in Regulation 692, Article 2, the definition states meat means all parts of ungulates, poultry, and game birds which are suitable for human consumption, including blood, whereas offal in point 43 means fresh meat other than that of a carcass of an ungulate, even if it remains naturally connected to the carcass. So consequently, blood is not offal, and blood is still authorized for the introduction into the European Union. Next slide.
Thank you for joining our training session regarding animal byproducts and animal-derived products. If you have any questions for us, you can put them in the chat session and then we'll answer them as accordingly.
So we have one question so far from Tobias. Can you clarify, Martina, this is clearly for you. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
It amendments in 142 include it is in Article 5 product manufacturing having reached the endpoint in the manufacturing are no longer subject to the requirements of this regulation. This includes everything for me.
Tobias, send him a message.
Either they are regulated under other regulations like medical devices, or they are treated so they are no longer pose a risk to the public health and environment. Like hides and skin as the example. Slide.
So Tobias, did that answer your question? This is from Ashley Batchen. I'm still a bit confused in relation to medical devices and IVDs. I know there is an exemption for IVDs in research, but is there exemption for general IVDs?
As soon as it is labeled or registered as an IVD, it's covered under, as long as immediate or not a product regulation.
So it flips once it's a finished IVD. Yes, from the animal byproducts regs to the IVD regs, right?
Yes.
Hopefully that was helpful, Ashley.
But can I say something? In all cases,
yes.
I always would go to the competent authority in my member state and clarify with the competent authority in the member state. Mm-hmm. If it's not clear for me, go to the competent authority in the member state.
And that is something that we recommend routinely. If you don't know, ask.
Yep.
Right. Well, apparently we made everything crystal clear. If you have follow-on questions, please feel free to contact us, and also suggestions for other discussions that we could have along these lines. We are planning to do one a month, and the subjects are going to be varied. So let us know something that you're interested in. If that's all, I think we will say goodbye and wish everybody a very happy holiday season and a great new year. Thank you.